Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS, better known as Great Millstone, who rule well. And as always, we give peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect. And I'm your brother Mata Zabak, coming back with a rebuke and exhortation video on this brother right here, who goes by the name on TikTok at dhan1140. Now, for those of you who follow my TikTok content and lives that I do, the last live that I did, which was about a couple of days ago, this brother came on a live and tried to argue the point that in Revelation, the 7th chapter, where it breaks down the 12 tribes of Salakia, it breaks down 12,000 men out of the 12 tribes of Israel pertaining to the 144,000. He goes on to say that there's no tribe of Ephraim. There was no mention of a tribe of Joseph of Ephraim, just Manasseh or in Dan. Now, when I was speaking to him, I tried to give him a basic breakdown. And I told him when dealing with Dan, the last that we hear of Dan is in Judges, the 18th chapter. And if you read that chapter, Dan kind of just, withered away and he lost a lot of people. But nevertheless, when you talk about Ephraim is a tribe, but he tried to argue the fact that it's not a tribe because in Revelation, the 7th chapter, the tribes that it breaks down, it clearly mentions Manasseh and then it says Joseph. So that was his argument of saying that I'm wrong because Ephraim is not mentioned within 144,000. It's talking about Joseph. And I told him that Joseph is interchangeable with Ephraim. But once again, he claimed that I didn't have the truth and that I lack understanding. Okay, so basically he's bearing false witness because if he would have did his research, which let's go to Revelation, the 7th chapter, and I'm going to break it down because I actually didn't break it down all the way to him doing a live as I had, other people on there that I was trying to get through their questions, but I got time today. So Revelation 7, and we're going to read from verse 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all tribes of the children of Israel. Of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Asher were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Nephthalim were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Simeon were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Issachar were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zebulun were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Joseph were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Benjamin were sealed 12,000. So we have to understand why was it written in Revelation 7 and 8 of the tribe of Joseph and not Ephraim? Well, let's first prove that Ephraim was indeed a tribe. Let's get Genesis, the 48th chapter. All right. And start at verse 13. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand toward Israel's right hand, and brought them near unto him. And Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger. All right. So in this case, Ephraim was the younger son and Manasseh was the eldest son. And lifted Salakia and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hands witly. For Manasseh was the firstborn. Drop down to verse 17. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him. And he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head. And Joseph said unto his father, Not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head. And his father refused and said, I know it, my son, I know it. He also shall become a people, and he also shall be great. But truly is your younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. You see that? A multitude of nations. All right. Just off Ephraim's tribe, a multitude of nations. I want y'all to think about that for a minute. Verse 20. And he blessed them that day, saying, in thee shall Israel bless, saying, the Most High make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh, and set Ephraim before Manasseh. See, what this person right here fails to understand is that outside of the other 10 tribes, both Ephraim and Manasseh, okay, they were likened unto their own tribes, whereas all the other sons, they were the patriarch to the one tribe. But Ephraim and Manasseh were considered two different tribes, which clearly this guy doesn't understand that. So now that we have that understanding, okay, when Revelation 7 and 8 mentions Joseph, all right, it's talking about Ephraim. And how do we know that? Let's go to Numbers, the first chapter, and verse 32. All right, this is pretty much the end all scripture right here, and we can close it out on here, but I'm going to get some more edification on it. But this is Numbers 1 and 32. It says, of the children of Joseph, namely of the children of Ephraim. You see that? By their generations after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. They were a part of the 12 tribes. Because what he fails to understand is the 12th position was given to Levi because they held office and they had no inheritance to the land. Okay, otherwise it would have been 13 or up to 14 tribes because you also had Dan. Okay, but he doesn't know that history. That's why I told him, go give me a scripture that proves that Ephraim was never a tribe. Ephraim is a tribe and still is a tribe today. It's synonymous with the name Joseph, right? So now, okay, let's get here a little bit of information, all right, from one source, Wikipedia. It says, according to the Hebrew Bible, the tribe of Ephraim was one of the tribes of Israel. The tribe of Manasseh, together with Ephraim, formed the house, Salakia, formed the house of Joseph. Let me read that part again. The tribe of Manasseh, together with Ephraim, formed the house of Joseph. So when I said to him on the live that anytime in the Bible, depending on the context, okay, when you see if the Bible declares it as being the house of Joseph, it could be talking about either Ephraim or Manasseh. And how can we prove that? One of them is in Joshua, the 14th chapter. Right? And let's see here. We can get, let's see if they have it also. Joshua chapter 14, verse 4. For the children of Joseph were two tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim. You see that? Therefore, they gave no part unto the Levites in the land, save cities to dwell in, with their suburbs for their cattle and for their substance. So they were considered two tribes that made up the 12 tribes of Israel, proving that Ephraim was a tribe. Okay, now let me see if I can get another precept. All right. Yep. Joshua 17 and 17. That's really the one I wanted. And Joshua spake unto the house of Joseph, even to Ephraim and to Manasseh. You see that? So anytime the scriptures is talking about the house of Joseph, because there's not a tribe called Joseph. When it talks about the tribe of Joseph in Revelation 7, it's synonymous to either Manasseh or it's talking about Ephraim, as we see in Revelation 7 and 6, I think it was. Yeah, 7 and 6 of the tribe of Manasseh were sealed 12,000. So Manasseh is already mentioned there. Okay, so when you get down to verse 8 of the tribe of Joseph, it's talking about Ephraim. And we're going to prove it. Don't worry, because I know what I brought out so far is still not enough. Okay, Now, when you drop down to Ephraim as portrayed in the biblical narrative, this is some really good information that you guys can look up on your own. But this bottom one here, just to prove a point that Ephraim was a tribe, this last paragraph at the bottom, it says, Ephraim is often seen as the tribe that embodies the entire northern kingdom, and the royal house resided in the tribe's territory, just as Judah is the tribe that embodies the kingdom of Judah, which consists of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, the southern kingdom, and provided its royal family. So Ephraim, that's why I told the brother, you have to be careful and understand the context and the history, which he clearly doesn't understand. Okay, because going back then, you had the northern kingdom, which sometimes was called either Joseph, okay, or Ephraim. Salakia, not Joseph, but Salakia, please forgive me. It was either called Israel or Ephraim, okay, in context. All right. The only time you will see the name Joseph if it was talking about the whole house of Joseph, which consists of both Manasseh and Ephraim, or it will be symbolically referred to as Ephraim. You see that? Let's get another article. It says here, there are instances, however, that the Bible does refer to a tribe of Joseph. Okay. And they give here Numbers 36:5. And Moses commanded the people of Israel according to the word of the Lord, saying, the tribe of the people of Joseph is right. As well as Numbers 13:11 and Revelation 7:8, which is what that guy quoted in my live. But what does it say here? However, when the tribe of Joseph is mentioned, it appears that they are referring to either the tribe of Ephraim or Manasseh, or to the house of Joseph, which we read in Wikipedia, which included Ephraim and Manasseh. When Jacob directed his prophecy toward each of his sons, he gave Joseph one of the longest double portion. All right. So now we're going to grab out of the Bible commentary of Revelation 7:8 and see what the scholars have to say. Okay. It says Joseph is mentioned and also Manasseh. The matter of fact was that Joseph had two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, Genesis 48:1, and that these two sons gave name to two of the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh. There was, properly speaking, no tribe of the name of Joseph. Okay. In Numbers 13, the name Levi is omitted, as it usually is, because that tribe had no inheritance in the division of the land, which I stated earlier. And in order that the number 12 might be complete, Ephraim and Joseph are mentioned as two tribes, because the names Ephraim and Manasseh together are symbolically, they're symbolic to Joseph. All right. So anytime you, like I said earlier, you read in context where it says the house of Joseph, okay, it's either talking about Ephraim or Manasseh, or it could be talking about both of them, depending on the context, right? So it goes on to say, Ephraim and Joseph are mentioned as two tribes, Numbers 13:8, 13:11, and 13:11. In Numbers 13:11, the writer states expressly that by the tribe Joseph, he meant Manasseh of the tribe of Joseph, namely of the tribe of Manasseh, etc. From this, it would seem that as Manasseh was the oldest, Genesis 48:14, the name Joseph was sometimes given to that tribe. As Ephraim, however, became the largest tribe, and as Jacob in blessings, the two sons of Joseph, Genesis 48:14, laid his right hand on Ephraim and pronounced a special blessing on him, Genesis 48:19-20. It would seem not improbable that when not particularly designated, the name Joseph was given to that tribe, as it is evidently in this place. Possibly the name Joseph may have been a general name, which was occasionally applied to either of these tribes. In the long account of the original division of Canaan in Joshua 13 and 19, Levi is omitted because he had no heritage, and Ephraim and Manasseh are mentioned as two tribes. Now pay very close attention to this last part. The name Joseph in the passage before us in Revelation 7 and 8 is doubtless designed, as remarked above, to refer to Ephraim. You can't get around it. Let me read that part one more time. The name Joseph in the passage before us, Revelation 7 and 8, is doubtless designed, as remarked above, to refer to Ephraim. In other words, when we read Revelation 7 and 8, where it says of the tribe of Joseph, it's referring to Ephraim. So that's a cut. So, that's all that needs to be said on that. All right. This brother right here has no understanding. So Lord's will, this lesson was edifying. On to the next time. Shalom.